Hey guys, it's Caitlin, your favorite Michigan girl. Happy Saturday! I know I said last week on my past vlog, which is like this past Sunday, that I'd be doing my vlogs and posting them on Sundays. Well, I actually have Saturday and Sunday off from work this week, so I decided I'd do it today so that I'd have a little more free time Sunday since I work every single day except again Saturday. I get Memorial Day weekend off. It's so awesome. Next Friday I get out of work at 1:30 and I don't have to be back till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like 3 days of freedom and Wicket just fell. Sorry, excuse me for a moment. Wicket, stay and don't knock Chewy off. Told you they'd be with me in the videos. So I'm really excited because I have Memorial Day weekend off, but it's going to be a little weird. My mom is actually leaving for Memorial Day. She's leaving Friday to go down to Kentucky with my Aunt Holly because my one cousin is graduating high school and my mom would really like to go see it. So they're going to go down to watch her graduation on Saturday and they're coming back up Sunday. So my mom does wish she could take me and my brother with her. I'm sorry, my brother and I with her. It's just, it would still, even though she's driving down, it's still going to cost a lot of money. So she's just going to go down, and actually my brother and I are really happy that she's getting this chance to get away for a couple days just by herself. My mom does so much for all of us, and it's really nice when she gets a chance to be acknowledged, or like this, she's getting a chance to get away from being a mom and having to work at the schools and Walmart. It'll just be a great break for her. She's going to spend some time with her sisters and her mom, and she's going to get to see my cousins, and it will just be nice for her, and she's really excited about going, and my grandma's really excited about seeing her, so I think they'll have a great time. It's going to be super nice for them to see each other, so I'm really excited for my mom, and she's getting away for a few weekends, which is nice because I'm actually, like I said, I'm going away. I'm going to Michigan's Adventure in July, which I am excited about. I still wish I kind of had someone to go with me, because I used to spend all my time watching my cousins when we went, because I don't go on like the big roller coasters or the rides like that. I like the rides like the Scrambler and the Tilt-A-Whirl and Lakeside Gliders and the bumper cars and stuff like that. But now my cousins are older and they like going on the bigger rides, like the roller coasters like Thunderhawk and Shivering Timbers and Michigan Wild and the Wolverine and stuff like that. And I don't, so they're more willing to go with like their parents or with their elder cousins to go on these roller coasters. So I really don't have anybody to spend time with at the park. My dad is so into the water rides and the water park, which I'm not that much into water slides. So when I'm at the water park, I'm usually only in the wave pool. So it was hard last year because that was the first year where I was like literally, I had no kids. I was babysitting, and my cousin Rebecca, who I usually spend the most time with at the park, she was off going on like the Thunderhawk and rides like that, so I was by myself, and it's fun. I like going to Michigan's Adventure, but it's kind of sad when you're by yourself and you have nobody to go on these rides with, and yeah, it was kind of sad, and I actually told my mom I was seriously not going to go back to the park until I had someone I could go with. But like I said, I don't really get out of Midland a lot. I'm here pretty much 90% of the year, like 99% of the year. We rarely ever leave. And she's not exactly thrilled because it costs a lot of money to go to Michigan's Adventure. Granted, it's cheaper than going to Cedar Point or Six Flags, and definitely a whole lot cheaper than going to Disney World. But it's still a lot of money, especially when you're me, who's working a part-time job for minimum wage, and you're getting like $160 a week. It still can be pretty pricey to go to Michigan's Adventure. But she doesn't like that aspect of it, but she's willing to let me go because it does get me out of town, and I do enjoy it, and it's nice. So I'm looking forward to it. I really do wish I had someone to go with, but life is life. So I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy getting out of Midland for a while. I love driving down to Muskegon. It's so pretty. I just like driving through Michigan, so I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for July. And it will be really nice because I go back to work and I'm not allowed to take any days off for the last 2 weeks in August and the first 2 weeks in September because it's back to school. So, but I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm really happy my mom's going down to Kentucky, so it's gonna be great. I can't believe next Monday's Memorial Day. It's the unofficial start of summer, people. Okay, I think in the poor Western Plains and stuff, they've kind of been having summer for a while with all those really nasty tornadoes and storms. And in Michigan, we've kind of shifted back between summer and winter, spring, winter, fall, winter, and hopefully now we're in like spring, summer, which will be nice. We're supposed to get some storms next week. Cross my fingers, cross my fingers. I like thunderstorms when I'm awake. When I'm asleep, I don't like them. I was actually at work like last week, and we had like a quick thunderstorm, and it was really interesting. I've never been in like an all metal building, like the roof and everything is metal, and I've never been in a store like that in a thunderstorm. So, and I was working it was really interesting. It's like boom, and I'm like, what the heck was that? Oh my gosh. It was interesting. So yeah, I'm excited. Yay, weather. So yep, Mom's going away to Kentucky. I'm starting to make plans for Michigan's adventure. As you can see, I still have Chewy and Wicket. Mom has not successfully taken them from me yet. Yes, they're still mine, and my bobbleheads are sitting by my TV. But I'm not talking about Star Wars today. I know, usually every single vlog I'm talking about Star Wars, but not today. Last time I asked you guys what you wanted me to talk about, and one of the topics I threw out there was Sailor Moon. Well, one of my friends, Miss Layla B, actually asked me on YouTube, what's your opinion on Sailor Moon Crystal? Sailor Moon Crystal is the reboot of the original Sailor Moon anime from the 90s with a huge difference. It's actually based on the manga and not just a bunch of stories that were written for the anime. So Layla, my opinion, Sailor Moon Crystal is so much better than the original 1990s anime. And there's a lot of reasons for it. One, the original Sailor Moon anime, like a lot of anime based on popular manga like Fruits Basket, Ouran High School Host Club, Vampire Knight, Marmalade Boy, Hana Dango. A lot of those times, those anime are actually being written, produced, and released, while the manga itself is still being written. So the producers and writers, they're actually making things right off the top of their head while trying to stay as close to the original plotline as possible. Sometimes this goes really good, sometimes it goes really bad. That's why usually an anime show is done before the manga. In fact, in Sailor Moon, it was the same way. The anime was actually finished before the manga was finished. And it was so totally different. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Sailor Moon was this really cool series created by a woman named Naoki Takashi. I have the Wikipedia entry up because I don't know half off of it. And it's actually, full name of it is actually Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, and it's really cool. Basically, it follows the story of this girl named Usagi Tsushima, which literally translates into English as Rabbit of the Moon. There's a reason. One of the reasons Wicket keeps falling. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by my falling Ewok. Stay! One of the reasons Usagi has her name is because there's a legend. In Japan, you don't see a man in the moon, you actually see a rabbit in the moon. Anyway, Usagi is actually the reincarnation of this Princess Serenity, who 1,000 years before the story starts, lived in the Moon Kingdom. Turns out that in this world, the moon and all the planets of the solar system, except the sun, were actually kingdoms and were part of something called the Silver Alliance. Except for Earth. See, people on Earth weren't exactly happy. See, the people who ran the Silver Alliance were the Lunarians, or the lunar people who lived on the moon. The people who lived on the moon, because they had this power granted to them by the silver crystal, actually lived really long lives and had really powerful abilities. And not just them. All the people on all the planets had magical abilities. And each princess was a scout. They were sworn to protect the Moon Princess, aka Princess Serenity, who was named for her mom, Queen Serenity, who apparently was named for the moon goddess Selene. So, little mythology there. So, Serenity lived on the moon, and she was a princess and obviously was very loved. She was kind and she was sweet, but there was one thing she wanted. She was fascinated by the forbidden planet Earth. She couldn't go down there. But it was beautiful. It was unlike anything on the moon. The moon was all silver and white, gold. Everything was kind of soft and gentle. Earth was alive. There was wind, there was rain, there was water, there was green grass, animals, and of course, a very, very handsome prince named Endymion. Okay, I'm not sure if I said the name right, but it's there. She fell in love with him by watching him on view screens in the Moon Palace, and one day decided to sneak down to Earth, and she met him, and let's just say it was love at first sight. The two of them were absolutely meant to be together. So, the Queen of the Moon decided to put aside the differences and decided to let her daughter, the Princess of the Moon, and the Prince of Earth, even though it was forbidden, be together forever. Sounds like a happily ever after in the making, right? Well, not exactly. See, there was this kind of an evil woman named Beryl who was pretty much obsessed with the Prince of Earth. When the Prince of Earth sided with the Lunarians, falling in love with the Moon Princess, she didn't take it so well. She made contact with an evil spirit known as Matilda and absorbed her power and attacked the moon with a bunch of people from Earth, including the Prince's guardians, who themselves were in love with the Princess's guardians. Very twisted. So, they attack the moon, destroy the moon, and the prince is killed by Beryl defending the princess, and Princess Serenity is so heartbroken she's unable to survive. She takes the sword that her prince held in his hand and plunges it into herself and kills herself. Of course, all the scouts are dead, the Moon Kingdom is devastated, the Silver Alliance pretty much no longer exists. Queen Serenity is so heartbroken, she seals away all the evil in the silver crystal and sends the evil, along with everybody who was on the moon at the time in that galaxy, to Earth 1,000 years in the future to be reborn. Because she knows that even though that evil was locked away, it will break out one day. And when that happens, the Earth is going to need protection. Who's going to protect it? Princess Serenity, now living on Earth as Usagi Toskino and the alter ego of one Sailor Moon. Everybody's reborn. Prince Endymion becomes Mamoru Shiba, aka Tuxedo Mask, the guy who for some odd reason needs a top hat. Thank God in the later parts of the series it got taken away. There's Amy Mizuno, Sailor Mercury, super smart girl genius. Rei Hino, Sailor Mars, a priestess. Makoto Kino, like super tall girl. She's Sailor Jupiter. She's really tall, tough, a born warrior, but she loves plants and cooking and girly stuff. Minako Aino, Sailor Venus, the guardian of love, who's totally out there and obsessed with becoming an idol, aka a singer, an actor, and a dancer. Those four are the inner scouts, the inner senshi, and they represent the inner planets. All the planets are kind of close to Earth. There are 4 more senshi, and I think they're actually the coolest. They're called the outer senshi, or the outer Sailor Scouts. There's Michiru, Kaio, Haruka Tenno, Suzuna Meo, and Hitaru Tomo. Suzuna is Sailor Pluto, the guardian of time. Michiru is Sailor Neptune. Haruka is Sailor Uranus. Okay, I know, make the comments now, but she's actually pretty cool, and most people actually think she's a boy. She's pretty butch looking, got short hair, and she actually does act and look like a guy. She's a race car driver. Michiru is a violinist, and spoiler alert, they're in love! Sailor Moon is actually considered a very popular series by members of the LGBT community for its portrayal of lesbian characters in the form of Michiru and Haruka, and also later in the Sailor Star series, the Sailor Starlights, which I'll get to in a moment. Then there's Hitaru Tomo, who when she first appears, she's not exactly well liked by the others. See, Hitaru is Sailor Saturn, the Sailor Scout of Destruction. When she swings her glaive down in the manga, or scythe, or whatever you call it, she actually has the power to destroy all life on a planet. Totally bummer, and she's only like 12 years old. So when she first appears, the outer scouts, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune actually want to destroy her so that she can't destroy the planet. Thankfully, in later parts of the manga, she still can destroy the planet. She just chooses not to because she's actually a Sailor Scout and she's actually respected and kind of cool. So Haruka and Michiru are actually 2 of my favorite characters, especially Haruka. I just think Haruka's awesome. She's actually really interesting, especially with her relationship with Usagi, or Serena. Usagi because of she's drawn to her. Like, Usagi is like, has this purity about her. She's pure light and goodness. She wants everybody to get along. She doesn't like it when people are fighting, and she's striving so hard to be a friend to everybody, and that just draws all these people to her. It does draw the bad guys, because the bad guys want to snuff out the light and destroy it, but it draws everybody else to her, and for some of them, it's such a strong attraction. Like, Usagi and Mamoru, they're meant to be together. They're going to be together. But it's also a draw for characters like Haruka. Haruka is like kind of very stoic, kind of a stern character. She knows that there's darkness in the world. She's seen it. She's experienced it. But she can't help be drawn to Usagi. And so in her role as a Sailor Scout, that allows her to be really close to her. In fact, Haruka even kind of loves Usagi, and like almost a romantic type of love, but her soulmate is Mitsuru. They're truly deeply in love with each other, but that doesn't help an attraction Haruka has with Usagi that is, it's shown very strongly in the manga and in Sailor Moon Crystal, since Sailor Moon Crystal is like the manga, how deep and strong Haruka's affection for Usagi is. But it's not shown in the original 90s anime, which I will get to in a moment. And then, in Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, they introduced the characters Seiya, Taki, and Yaten, and they are the Sailor Starlights, and they are another reason why Sailor Moon is so popular with the LBGT community, because the Sailor Starlights in the manga are girls, but they look like guys. In the anime, the original anime from the 90s, they are guys who, when they transform into the Sailor Starlights, Fighter, Healer, and Maker, they become girls. Yeah, that's like, okay. That's actually one of the reasons why Naoko Takashi kind of did not want the anime to continue after Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, was because she disagreed with that. When they wrote it into, when they did that season of the original anime, they changed it so that the Sailor Starlights were guys who transformed into girls, when in the manga they were just girls who dressed and acted like guys. So it was a disagreement, but it's really interesting. There's also Chibiusa, who's Usagi and Mamoru's daughter from the future, where they're Neo King and Neo Queen of the new Silver Millennium. And then there's Chibi, who turns out to be the most powerful Sailor Scout in the universe, and she appears in Sailor Stars, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, but like I said, I like Sailor Moon Crystal a lot more than the original 90s anime. The 90s anime ran for 200 episodes, and most of those episodes have nothing to do with the manga. The first season, they stretched it out so long. Like, we got Usagi, and then right after Usagi, we got Amy Ray, and then there was like a 5-episode gap, and then we got Jupiter, and then there was like a 10-episode gap, and there's Venus. And then there's like all these filler episodes till we get to the end. And then when they start season 2, which is called Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon Returns, the first half of the season deals with the story arc called the Doom Tree. And this is how, because after the first season, after they defeat Beryl, Usagi, the Sailor Scouts, and Mamoru lose all their memories. And so they created this story arc to explain how the girls got their memory. Here's the thing. In the original manga, the first 10 volumes of Sailor Moon are actually one season. I know what you're thinking. What? No, it's true. Originally, in the Sailor Moon manga, volumes 1 through 10 are actually considered one season. And then you have 4 volumes of Sailor Moon Super S. And then you have the 3 Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, which was the end of the manga. But for some odd reason, when they did the 90s anime, they took that first 10 and they divided it into 3 seasons. Now, they've kind of done it with Sailor Moon Crystal. They've, a little bit. When Sailor Moon Crystal first came out, they did do a few of the volumes. They did from the Metella arc, which was where the discovery of Sailor Moon, they did that through the end of the Black Moon, and then they ended it there. And now they've started Sailor Moon Crystal Infinity arc, which is the rest of those first 10 volumes, and that brings in the outer Sailor Scouts and the talisman. So it makes it, so instead of having like these humongously long seasons, they did like one really long first season, and then they're calling it the 3rd season, but I'm considering it 2nd because there was really no gap between 1st and 2nd when Sailor Moon Crystal first aired. But yeah, in the original 1990s anime, it was really long and drawn out, and there were a ton of episodes. And when I was a kid and I saw the anime and I didn't read the manga, I thought, okay, this is awesome, it's cool. Then I read the manga, and the manga goes a little bit more deeper into the characters. It shows their relationships a little more clearly. I feel like the anime was the 90s anime was more like, oh my gosh, we're gonna like amp up, like they really, in the anime, they really amped up Usagi's clumsiness, how she was really bad in school, how she was such a crybaby, and they made it such a huge part of the story. In the manga, it shows that yes, she's clumsy, she's not good at school, she's kind of a crybaby, but it's not like totally amped up to this point where it's comedic, it's just there. In the original 90s anime, it's like such a big part of the series, it's kind of like, okay, why? And then like the relationships, Mamoru and Usagi's relationship in the manga, it plays a big part, especially in the first few like the first 10 volumes. It's very clear that they are together and they are in love, and they show that a lot. In the Sailor Moon Super S manga, it's there, we still see they're in love, but it's not like, and it still plays a role in what they have to do, but it's not like so in your face and there, but we still know they love each other. And in Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, Mamoru technically proposes to Usagi right before he leaves to America to go to school, only he gets like killed, sorry, spoiler alert, killed by Galaxa, and his starseed is taken. But the love is still there, and I love how they show that in the manga. In the anime, they only highlighted Usagi and Mamoru's relationship in certain episodes. In the first season, it was all about their romance, especially after they got their memories of their past lives back. But then, after that, it was kind of like, okay, here are these episodes. Oh, by the way, Usagi and Mamoru, they still love each other. Okay, pull back. They still love each other. And then, it was like, okay, so why wasn't their relationship a big part of the 90s anime? So that was kind of disappointing. So it's why I'm so excited with Sailor Moon Crystal being more like the manga, because we see more of Usagi and Mamoru's relationship and how deep and meaningful it is than we did in the 90s. To that same token, I like I said, I like how they show how protective Haruka was, how she was drawn to Usagi. I mean, and when they first meet, Haruka at Sailor Moon and Sailor Uranus, one of their meetings, Uranus actually kisses the moon, and it's like, whoa! So it's actually interesting because in the 90s anime, it was all about Haruka and Mishu's relationship, which was highlighted. My favorite lines are from the season 5 when Haruka's like, Mishu, be gentle with me. And Mishu says like, I'll be gentle with you later. It's like, oh! This was a kid's show! Okay. But I really did like the manga depiction of Haruka being drawn to Usagi and kind of being in love with her. And I'm happy that since Sailor Moon Crystal is just like the manga, they're doing that same thing. And then I'm really looking forward to seeing Sailor Stars in Sailor Moon Crystal, the last story arc, because I know it's going to be interesting with Seiya. Seiya is one of the Sailor Starlights. He is Sailor Starfighter. Interesting to note that Mamoru actually does refer to Haruka as he at times. Haruka doesn't really start acting like a girl or anything to the last in the manga to the last volume. So it's really interesting how for a lot of Sailor Moon Super in the manga, that story arc, Haruka is actually referred to as he, and he's actually a girl. But Seiya comes in, and when Seiya comes in, Mamoru is dead, and Seiya meets Usagi pretty much after that happens. And like Haruka, Seiya is drawn to Usagi, but Seiya is in love with Usagi. I mean, Haruka's in love too, but it's not like full blown, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's Seiya who's so totally in love with Usagi, and this is where I think I might not like Sailor Moon Crystal as much when they get to the Sailor Stars episode, because in the anime, they do such a good job in the 1990s anime of showing how much Seiya is drawn to Usagi and how much he loves her, and even Usagi herself is very much drawn to Seiya because Mamoru's not around, and Sarah reminds her a lot of Mamoru, and he's actually very kind and sweet, and they're similar, and so she's drawn to him in that anime. In the manga, Seiya's love and devotion is very clear, and it's sweet, but I guess the reason I'm kind of I'm excited about seeing Sailor Stars and Sailor Moon Crystal, but it's going to be interesting because I feel like it hasn't come out yet, but I kind of get the feeling that, and from reading the manga and then watching the anime from the 90s, in the 90s they did a lot more with Seiya and Usagi's relationship than Naoko was able to do with the manga. And I have to wonder if she was holding herself back a little, because in the manga Seiya is a girl all the time, and in the anime they went a little bit further because Seiya is a boy who turns into a girl. It's very confusing. But yeah, Layla, I hope this answers your question. A very long, drawn-out answer that I actually love Sailor Moon Crystal. I actually find it so much better than the episodes from the 90s. Although I do have some of my favorite Sailor Moon episodes from the 90s that I do have. I do like Sailor Moon Crystal. I'm looking forward to the episodes coming up in the Crystal Infinity arc. I'm looking forward to seeing them do the Black Moon Circus and Sailor Stars. I just can't wait to see where it goes. It'd be really interesting to see that if now they've shown that they can do this with Sailor Moon, maybe they might go back and start doing this with other manga that has since finished. I mean, I would love to see a Fruits Basket anime that is more in tune with the Fruits Basket manga, because the Fruits Basket anime that's out, it's kind of really far off. It starts out doing really well in line with the manga, and then when they ended it, like, the manga wasn't even, like, I think it was just like halfway done, so they totally did a different ending, which doesn't really fall in line with the story at all. It doesn't really make any sense. So I hope they go back and redo a Fruits Basket anime. So who knows? Maybe Sailor Moon Crystal has proven that that you can do anime adaptations that are like pretty much 100% true to the manga. So yeah, I'm excited. I love Sailor Moon Crystal. But yeah, I think it's great. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out if you're an anime or an otaku. Sailor Moon was actually the first import from Japan, even though Power Rangers came on first, but Sailor Moon was actually the first Japanese anime that actually hit, I don't remember what it is, like 2 million fans or something in the US when it first came out. It had the strongest debut of any Japanese anime up to that point, and that includes Dragon Ball Z and Speed Racer, which had both come to America beforehand. But yeah, if you haven't seen Sailor Moon, go check it out. If you're feeling daring, go check out the episodes from the 90s. I think it ran from 1991 to 1997. That was the original anime. The manga is really awesome. Go check it out if you're interested. Hulu actually has all 200 episodes up of the original Sailor Moon anime from the 90s, and they also have Sailor Moon Crystal. And you don't have to sign up. It's absolutely free to watch both. So go check out Sailor Moon. It's pretty cool. I'll be back next week with another installment of my vlog. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. I'm not sure. Hopefully by then I'll have either read Bloodlines or just Dark Disciple, and I can review them. I don't know. So go check out Sailor Moon. Thanks for watching. I'm your favorite mission girl, Caitlin. I'll talk to you later.